Hey friends, it's Rob here. The investigations continue in Casimir. And over the course of this week and next, the scale and the impact of what's going on here in Dabwick's hometown will begin to unfold, all leading to some really difficult decisions for our pals here. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and thank you, as always, to our supporters on Patreon, including Catherine and Crook14. Thank you so much for hopping on board, y'all. Links to our merch store and the Patreon page are at our website, darknexuspodcast.com, along with our incredibly robust wiki and all of Matt's gorgeous art. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you can, and infect a friend today. Welcome back to Dark Nexus. Tonight, it's Act 4, Chapter 154. It's the evening of the 23rd of Frost still. We're well into the evening, but people who are out at restaurants and clubs and taverns and so forth are still very much out and about. Casimir is a city with nightlife, so there's still plenty going on. After Dabs finished their meditation, we took a hike down the hill, down to a little cove on the harbor that Dabwick knows well, where we attempted, and failed, to scry Stanhope and Stasi. They're either dead or warded against remote viewing somehow. Coming to terms with the fact that you may have a little bit of shoe leather investigation on your hands if you want to put some more context around the little nuggets of information, the little clues you currently have about Stasi and company and their whereabouts, and Lowles and Munn and company and their whereabouts. Dabs took you to their pal, Glenborn Havermast, second shift permits and admin type for the shipyard district, and Glenborn actually had a couple of leads for you. Number one, he wasn't the person to have kept the records of the destination of the ship Lowles and Munn left on, the Jeroboam, but he did recall hearing there being something odd about their travel plans, that they kept changing maybe, but that the new harbor master, Julius Kane, would be the person who would know about that. And number two, he did mention an unexpected decrease in the rodent population in the district in recent days. So, if this were Act 3, we'd probably say, cool, we did one thing today, I'm tired, let's go to bed and do one thing tomorrow. However, we're back in the real world now. We don't have any idea what sort of clock we may be on, and we have a whole city spread out before us that is still open for business for many more hours. Now, it sounds like from last time, like Katie has some plan to help y'all check out the sunken Aurora maybe tomorrow morning, so that wouldn't be an activity for tonight. But let's figure out what our next steps are. We could certainly attempt to hunt down a specific person or two, whether that's this Julius Kane or someone else on Polly's nice long list of people that Dabwick knows. Or if we want to begin to lay the groundwork of getting our ears to the ground here in this big and bustling city, we could also spend some time tonight making diplomacy or knowledge local checks to, say, pick up rumors on specific topics of interest, and then depending how long those checks take to make, either follow up on them tonight or in the morning. But what you think? What's the plan, friends?
Would the harbor master, you said it's 8?
8 o'clock hour.
8-ish?
Yeah.
Would the harbor master still be working at this time?
He would not be working at this time, but you could probably, with a quick check around, find out maybe where if he tends to
have dinner someplace or something like
if he's
that?
got a club or he's got a tavern he frequents, as our friends across the pond would say. You might be able to dig that up.
And I guess somewhat related, would there be anything Grip could gather with a profession sailor check just by sort of, like, see if there's any local type of information he could gather?
I think so. If anybody did not listen to our recap episode, we talked a little bit in that about how I've come up with a system to allow Polly to make some profession radar checks on Dabs' behalf based on their experience here in Casimir. And I think, Robert, I would be comfortable, like if the rest of the group decides they want to take a block of time to do one of their checks, and you were like, yeah, I will dedicate a significant amount of time as well. I think I can come up with something pretty quick to make you use those checks in a way that could possibly result in some clues and leads.
Since I don't really have diplomacy in my bag of tricks.
And I think for the same reasons that Dabs would use their ability to be a professional in a working environment to get some information, I could see the same being the case for Grip.
Cool.
Dora is happy to speak with the locals, do some diplomacy, but to what end? What do we think is the most fruitful lead? I'm looking to Dabwick, frankly, as this is your home base.
What hits close to home is the absence of rats. There's a network of tunnels and gangways that exist beneath the docks.
Casimir's Locker, it's called.
I mean, most of my work was down there. If there's no more rats, that's a curious thing indeed.
Well, it could be a new predator, or it could be a new rat catcher. Perhaps you and I work together?
If you're willing to join me.
Certainly.
If that's the case, if we're all going to kind of split and go our way, then it feels like Bash this would be a good time for Bash to kind of just be wandering the city to sort of familiarize its turns and curbs so that he can actually make knowledge local checks and just kind of be walking around listening and figuring out where things are and stuff, if that works for everybody.
Start to get some hours clocked on your little 10-hour clock list there.
There you go.
Yep. So we're going to split the party?
Let's split the party.
Let's agree on where we'll meet and when.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You literally haven't been out of my sight in so long.
How far away does your telepathic bond work?
I think once it's established, it's just...
How long does it last?
Yeah, check out the specifics on that, Katie. You might be golden.
Did I already cast it?
Yes. Probably like 2 hours ago?
3 or so at this point.
Okay.
Well, I think I'd have to recast it. It is 10 minutes per level.
Okay, so you'd have to recast it. And I think, if I remember right, as long as they're on the same plane, is that right?
Once the bond is formed, it works over any distance.
There we go. That's why we were able to...
from one plane to another. Yes,
Right.
That's how we kept in touch with Barnabas.
Yep.
Great. However...
So no one leave the plane.
But it will last 100 minutes, is that right?
No, well, we'll see.
Okay. Maybe a little bit more.
Again, before she puts this into effect, there's a little bit of head tilting. It's 9, 2... All right.
Carry the one.
Maths. Nathaniel will be so proud.
It will last for 110 minutes.
Okay. So you could easily, just before that time passed, if your activities were lasting longer, at least check in before it ran out. Mm-hmm. For sure.
And say, this is where we're going to meet in
or this is where
time.
I think I'm going to be a while longer. Why don't you all meet me here? Somebody might say, depending on how you roll those 1d4s.
I have a question.
Yeah, you got a question.
This is based on something I've recently re-listened to.
Yes.
And so any vision, any psychometry reading, everyone has access to memory of that, correct?
You have anything that I have said on the air is something Dora has said out loud. So your character has basically heard what you and a listener have heard. Yes.
So I just recently listened. I think it was one of the psychometry readings of, I think it was the spell book, where Tima is subconsciously playing with the finger bones in a very specific way. So Grip saw that. Grip has now seen you do this twice. Would he recognize any similarities between those motions?
Interesting.
I don't know. You know what it all is.
There was a similar mathematical precision kind of at play.
Okay, I think I have an answer. Katie, you tell me if any of this does not feel right.
Sure.
I think the answer is the rapidity and meticulousness and the kind of the way her face twists up while she's doing it is certainly reminiscent of how that person at that time, Tima's face, looked. But this does not look like the same activity.
Okay.
And there was a certain blankness to Tima's aspect while doing that because it was like an unconscious, almost autonomous, shove this emotion aside and channel it here kind of thing. This seems like the front of the brain is working hard.
Yeah, okay.
Like she's present. She's very, very present. Does that feel right, Katie?
Yep.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, so the plan for the remainder of the evening, late night in the nightlife of Casimir. So we're going to split up a little bit. Dabs and Pandora are going to do some mutual poking around and visiting, talking to the locals, maybe following Dab's lead on locations to check out, and then Pandora will do some talking on her own while they're scoping stuff out. Sounds like Gripper is going to spend the evening making his way up and down the shipyard district. Yeah,
I think specifically if he finds any word of the harbor master, if
Yep.
the harbor master's around, or
Yep.
if he can pick up any scuttlebutt about if anyone's talking about remind me the ship name. I'm sorry, the Aurora.
Aurora.
The Aurora. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any of those oddities.
Yep.
I'm a
And
little concerned about Grip going off by himself while this demon is hunting you.
would I use the opportunity of a split party to force a solo demon fight on
You're embarrassing
I know.
yourself.
Well,
I'll let myself out.
well, I guess I would then ask, is it possible for me to just sort of like hang with Grip
Yeah.
Sure.
and be picking up information about the city? Or
We can go other places too. We go take a pass through the docks, and then we
Yeah.
can go wherever you want, man.
You know, and honestly, I would say since anything that you currently know about, whether it's Lowell's arrival, Lowell's and Munn's departure, Stasi's activities, anything with the Aurora, what's going on with, since it all somehow spreads out from or narrows in on the shipyards district, this seems like a totally fine place to start. So,
Yeah,
great.
love it.
Cool.
Polly, do you want to have Dabs and Pandora's evening of information gathering be focused on the shipyard district as well, or do you want to head up somewhere else?
I'm interested in where the rats are supposed to be and why aren't they there?
All right. So as far as you know, this situation is a shipyards only at the moment. So we'll say you're starting there as well. So as you picture this district, it's a couple mile stretch of piers, again, starting roughly where you all are at, with dry dock, then up sort of into the main area of commerce, and then construction at the north end, and all right along the front of the harbor right there is just this long, endless boardwalk and line of sort of public-facing businesses. This would be the taverns, inns, restaurants, hotels, brothels, all that kind of stuff. And then there are blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks stretching backwards, deeper and deeper towards the marsh of everything else that would be associated with an industrial district. So as you're looking back there, you're seeing factories, warehouses, like supply depots, a lot of businesses that do close down for the night and seem to be, for the large part, doors are locked and sealed, areas are fenced off. A lot of tight security around these businesses because there's probably goods stored, secret, mechanical, construction, alchemical processes being done.
Is all of that to the west of this river? Like I know it's not to scale, but like is there this
where I'm
river
pinging
with
here-
a canal running to the east? Is that accurate?
That does exist there. So just picture more like half a mile between the boardwalk and that of warehouses and factories
Gotcha.
and depots and supply houses and stuff.
Okay.
A very tangled, looming, dark, industrial feeling area.
Probably not a convenient grid system.
Well, you know what? I would say because this is like the hub of the industry here. The closer you are to the boardwalk, yeah, neat, orderly organized, and then the closer you get back to the river and the fen and things get a little bit older or things get a little bit cheaper, maybe some of that orderliness falls apart. It starts to look a little bit darker, a little more abandoned in some places. Maybe there's some more rundown, bankrupt, abandoned businesses that, haven't survived particular calamities or
Feels very Peaky Blinders.
Oh, sure. Yeah. That's kind of a good, in terms of the feel of the kind of bustle of this city. I think that's a good reference. Okay, let's start with Dabs and Pandora. You're working together. Why don't I have one of you make a D4 roll for the both of you to see how long this takes the two of you? Looks like Polly's going to make it.
2.
2 hours. Very good. So we'll just say you're done by 10. How about that?
How about it?
And the link will wear off then at like 9.
An hour and 50.
Okay, so I'm pulling up my little sheet here of the bonuses that I'm going to give Polly on his profession check based on how he distributed bonuses on what Dabwick knows.
That's really cool.
So we're in the shipyards district. Polly, that'll give you a +4.
Okay.
And in terms of industries you're dealing with, I think I'm going to give you the +1 bonus from what you seem to know about the fishing, navy construction, shipbuilding, and transport industries. So total +5 to your profession radar check when you make it. And Katie, Pandora will just be making a straight up diplomacy check unless you want to modify
Getting to know
it.
people.
Yeah.
All right, Dabwick's going to make this profession rattle check. Ooh. That's an adjusted 20.
All right, you keeping that 20?
Keeping that 20, I think Dabwick's out of practice a bit and is a little baffled by what they see.
Alrighty. And what do you get on your diplomacy check there, Katie?
27.
All right, so Polly, that 20, it sounds like that was a low number on your die, but it's actually in terms of, digging up information and rumors in a district, that's actually a very good roll.
Okay.
That is sufficient to get information that is far beyond just commonly known into some curiosities, and the same is the case with Pandora's role as well. So in terms of your stated interest and your leading interest in this rat situation, you do dig up this absence of rodents or a marked decrease in rodentia activity seems to be centered mostly around the north end of the district, sort of up in the construction area or thereabouts. That there is still, rodent life to be found in other parts of the district. I mean, less than usual, but where the absence has been particularly noted is up north. And that this, as far as a timeline for this, when it seems like people started noticing about it, or when you ask follow-up questions about, how long has this been going on, the answer seems to generally be a few weeks. And you dig into that, and it seems like maybe around a month or so. So, didn't seem to be something that started immediately after you all arrived here, but something that has maybe been progressing and hit a point of public notice about a month ago. And then once people started noticing it, there are just no rats up in the north part of this district.
Would there be sign of traps or poison or pheromones or other tricks of the trade that Dabwick would normally use, seeing if there's any remnants of that laying around?
That would be something we could decide to do after having received this information.
Okay.
And then what eventually catches Pandora's ear is there seems to be people killing themselves. Like some prominent people in the district have suddenly died or committed suicide. There was these two friends Evitaru and Iobulos. These are both names that Dabwick recognizes. My guess is maybe doesn't know them personally, but they are prominent enough names. Evitaru is an alchemist, did a lot of work in the shipbuilding industry. And Iobulos was actually an engineer, a shipbuilding engineer, one of the head engineers for multiple government contracts. On the same day, Iobulos, the engineer, died in a fall at work, and it struck everybody as a little odd, especially given that her best friend Evie Taru died in a lab fire the exact same day, maybe at the exact same time. That was, oh my goodness, that was last week. Okay, yeah, so that would explain why this is on people's lips. And then there's another prominent member of this community here. His name is Thummel Hewburn. He's an engineer and a contractor. This is somebody that Dabwick did know, is that right?
Yeah. Human male, 50s, member of the City Surveyors Guild and a general contractor.
Mm-hmm. He seems to have drowned himself a couple of days ago.
Oh, no.
At the work site.
Where I last left him.
Yeah. The crew came in that morning and found him drowned. Under the structure, they were working to pull out of the swamp in a way that just struck everybody as, number one, why was he here after we all left for the day? And number two, he's just too good in his job. Like, why would he be in here alone? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
A couple days ago, that one.
So far we've got fall, which could be centered either wind or earth, fire, and water.
That's what we got so far. Yeah, I think that's the bulk of what the two of you pick up. Now let's turn over to our pals Gripper and Bash. One of you roll a foresighter for me.
I will say for this it should be Grip, because Bash has drank several different extracts and is just sort of like shadowing you so that nobody even knows that he's with you.
Okay.
To just kind of be like walking around the edges.
Yeah.
And also to keep an eye on you in case all of a sudden our demonic friend pops in and stuff, and that they wouldn't know that you have someone.
Have a tail. Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
I like
You know that that you have a tail, but
the.
nobody else does.
For some reason, you in the shadows is comforting.
Yes.
So D4, you say.
D4.
This is the first time I've rolled this super oddly sized, shaped D4. 3 hours.
And I will also say the 3 extracts that I've drank are Dark Vision, Bloodhound, and False Face.
What's Bloodhound?
Bloodhound is hours per level, and it gives me scent.
Which is great by the water.
But also seems like a useful thing in case we run into anybody. If they're people that we're interacting with, I'll be able to check their scent regardless of what they look like.
This is fun. Okay, so Robert, give me your profession sailor check. And I think based on the way I did this for Polly, let's have you just add a +1. And Johnny, you can go ahead and roll your knowledge local.
Well, that's just a 15.
Okay. That is good enough to pick up more uncommon than just commonly known stuff.
Cool.
That's a 34.
Good God.
He smells trouble.
He does smell trouble.
This has to feel the most sort of at home in terms of like thinking of Dilathlene as a port city and thinking of Casimir as this port city, where it has to just keep having
The overlap.
Yeah,
of memory.
Overlap of memory.
Yeah, I love that. All right, so the two of you, so Gripper, you are able to dig up, it's fairly commonly known information where Julius Kane, the new harbor master, hangs out of an evening. He can often be found at a place called the Third Peacock Tavern. It's kind of an upscale, expensive pub trying to maintain a dive bar feel.
Mm-hmm.
And opinion on him is not super positive. He is generally regarded as somebody's cousin, somebody's uncle, who knows? Kind of a piece of work. maybe completely corrupt. That seems to be the general feel about that guy. Johnny, Bash, Gripper is throwing around a lot of questions about, where does so-and-so hang out? Where does a average sailor go to get a drink? Hear anything about this or that? Or, boy, that Aurora, huh? Crazy shit. And as Gripper's moving on from one conversation, Bash sticks around just a little bit longer and catches whiff of
the response to those questions.
Yeah, it's a group of folks remarking back on, they hadn't really thought about Munn for a while since he left town. And he was such a common sight at the Sceptered House, and not seeing him around there anymore has been a real change. In fact, a lot of the regulars there, things have really changed at the Sceptered House since Munn left. It's a little tidbit that you pick up. And I think you would also pick up, because you've now got scent for this whole chunk of time. Thank you, Johnny. You would pick up a very curious odor in the air as you made your way further and further north in the district. It starts to smell a little bit like, does this part of town smell like the hold of the Sullen Starling? No, that's not quite it. Does it smell like... Hey, Gripper, come over here.
Hey.
Does it smell a little bit like... Does it smell a little bit like me? There is this particular sweet and foul tang in the air that just pops to your supernaturally heightened senses and smells a little like you two to you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And you absolutely do not smell it.
There's some street meat or something like that at a kiosk.
So we know they're out a little bit longer than the Dabs and Pandora cluster at the point that you would check in with your bond. You were kind of done for the evening. So do you want to
would have caught up with them?
Meet up with them? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so why don't we assume it's around 11 p.m. now. So at this point, most reputable businesses would be closing up for the evening. Of course, a lot of disreputable or alcohol-serving leaning businesses are still, of course, open for the night. But things are starting to quiet down now. And you've made your way kind of to the north end of the district. And as Dabwick and Pandora approach, and you've still got this going, it's just like there's something kind of just weirdly sweet and foul that they smell like too. That is just how this area smells.
Like it smells like Shaman Door?
Yeah, maybe it's one of those times where you were taking really close care of one of the four of you all and Barnabas in the hold on a particularly sweaty day. And like the way your sort of extrusions and body fluids would smell a little fungal in those periods where the seedborne consumption was flaring up. You smell a little bit of that in the air up there.
Now, but is it in the air or is it in his nostrils?
It seems to be in the air. And of course, I think that's probably a question that Gripper would be seriously asking, because you are not smelling this. It's only because he's got these supernaturally heightened senses at the moment.
So we smell a certain way.
Yeah.
Are we interacting with anybody else that smells like this?
No, you have not noticed that. It seems to just kind of be in the air. Like it smells like the hold of the Starling on one of those days at the end of a month where you're all really sick and sweating and coughing, and there's just fungal reek in the air. It's gross, man. It is gross.
As if part of the city is infected.
Sickeningly sweet. Yeah, something up here smells infected.
When you said the sickeningly sweet, it reminded me back when we were in Briarstone.
Yeah.
Cake.
The cake smell.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So it isn't that specific smell, but it's a smell you've come to now pin on the thing that's growing in your head.
It's probably nothing.
Yeah.
And where is the sceptered... What is it?
The Sceptered House. I think that's...
Is that close by?
That's a name that Dabwick would know. It's a fairly prominent, what to even call it, kind of
Like a club?
club slash reading room slash bar slash opium den slash house of mystery and fun. It's kind of a cornerstone of the...
Is it just for the rich and elites, though?
No.
Oh.
It is kind of a cornerstone of this one prominent corner in the Abbey Green district, right at the base of the hill where Quickfall Abbey is. And, it's been a hot second, but Paul talked in one of Dabwick's visions 1,000 years ago about the history of Quickfall Abbey, which was, the major temple in town to Eridan. And then when Eridan died, this whole thing collapsed and has been left. And now it's an completely abandoned ruin up there. But the Abbey Green district itself, which is very lively, and it's kind of an artsy district, a broad mix of social classes, lower, middle, and upper classes, but there's a lot of artists and artisans and interesting businesses, and Sceptred House is probably 30-minute walk away.
Does the smell like it's stronger in that direction?
I would say at the heart of the construction district is where it smelled the strongest to you.
Is there anything of particular note in that area?
More of the same.
Okay.
A lot of high security warehouses and factories within easy eye shot of all the lights of the boardwalk. But then as you look back deeper and deeper into the district, a lot of abandoned buildings, a lot of old warehouses, or a lot of just sealed up places where secrets are held. Secrets and clues.
And this is where all three of those people died. This district.
The fall off the ship would have happened way in the north, so up in this area, which is roughly where you are. Yeah. The lab fire would have happened down here, and then the drowning would have happened down in Admiral's Fen.
Oh, okay.
But the thing to really note about the fall and the fire are nearly simultaneous.
Yeah. And they were friends.
Best of friends.
As if one found out something and probably told the other, and they're like, well, we can't have that leak.
Can't imagine. I don't know.
Sounds like someone's closing off leaks.
Let's get more clues.
Is there any connection between the rumors that were heard about the Sceptred House and any of those three people, as in they frequented there, and they're among the people who no longer hang out there?
To do honor to that role in the 30s that Johnny got, when Pandora brings her information into the circle here, all three of them were known to frequent the Sceptred House. All three of them. Mm-hmm. Along with Munn.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I guess we're going to the Sceptred House.
And Dabs would guess they'd probably be open until at least 1.
Where's the 4 o'clock bars? Where can you go make really bad decisions at 4 in the morning in
Admiral's
Casimir?
Fen. Admiral's Fen. Dab would say that immediately. I know a place.
Okay, so the confabulation plates.
Yeah.
It does not have anything that specifically says how long before the corpses had been dead.
That is 100% true. And part of the reason is that it does not follow the rules.
It works on a body, not on the soul.
It works on psychic residue, not on anything that Speak with Dead normally operates on.
Dabs,
Oi?
where would these bodies be interred?
There would be, a cemetery? There would be a...
Morgue? Would these be suspicious deaths?
I mean, this was
Cities
only
in-
last week.
City's in a swamp.
So they inter...
Or cremate.
Or cremate.
But it has only been a week.
I would say for Evie and Aya, Debs just wouldn't know where to even... over a week, no clue. But if Thummel Hubern died just a couple days ago, they're probably in the morgue. And Dabs would know where that is. It would be up in the old Casimir district, the walled, fancy pants, governmental, and rich folks district on the top of the opposite hill from the hill that Dabwick lives on.
But Bash, please, we didn't just arrive in Casimir to begin mutilating bodies.
Give it a day, Bash.
Do you know any of Tummel's friends?
I know.
Other acquaintances we might talk to about his activities?
I know his team. I know his co-workers. I know everyone who was on that project.
Well,
But are they personal friends with his?
They might know.
Or was he married, or had a partner, or children, or anyone who would know another side of him other than professional?
You would know that his assistant, Jacob Grossmantle, was, basically best buds with Thummel.
Jacob goes.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Jacob Uglycloak.
Good old Jake Uglycloak. Well, now when we meet him, he's going to have this voice. Jake Uglycloak's the name. Assisting Thummel Hubern's my game. What can I tell you? Do I have any clues for you? Clues. Leads.
Clues for sale?
Who wants a clue? got
I
a
see
clue.
4
Hey,
gumshoe detectives.
Hey, buddy, want a clue?
I'm not talking about, trying to desecrate a corpse, but maybe this Jacob might want to know the reason why his friend is dead.
Jacob might already know. We should talk to him.
Let's begin with Jacob.
We'll put the skull crushing on the B list for the moment.
Yeah, but would you like to investigate the areas where there might be poison or other signs of...
I'm very curious about how these rats were dispersed. I mean, I have my methods, of course.
And we could investigate if any methods like that have been used. Certainly you would be able to tell and you would know where to look.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'd like to do a little bit more researching on that.
So we're at around 11 o'clock tonight. I'd say we can do that or the Scepter House tonight. Each would probably, take about a half hour to get to the Scepter House. They're going to close in an hour and a half. This particular project, walking around a whole district looking for signs, take a couple of hours. What's your pick?
I'd rather talk to Jacob before we go to the Scepter House. Just in case there's anything we need to know before we just barge in.
Do we think we're going to be able to find him to talk at 11 o'clock?
Oh, no, I'm saying whenever we do that, we might want to do something we have a little bit more control over, which is Dabs looking for signs of rat catching.
So you would know where to find... Dabs would certainly know where to find Jacob in the morning.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So we'll talk to Jacob tomorrow.
And then save the Scepter
And
House for
save the
tomorrow.
Scepter House for tomorrow.
Does seem like some winds are pointing us that way.
All right, so... Dabs, give me a profession radar check.
If there's any aids to be made, I don't think.
Actually, don't even make a roll. You are very skilled at what you do and you know what to look for. So I think this, as a sign of your competence and experience, you spend hour and a half, couple hours up until you all are exhausted. And this place is closing down, even in this very large city, looking for any signs of conventional or unconventional extermination equipment, gear, supplies, remnants, leftovers, 0. Also, no sign of dead rats.
No rat droppings, no sign of anything being chewed up,
No.
No bones.
No.
bones.
And I would say, you would know where to, which particular sewer entrances probably lead down to Casimir's locker. And there's just no sign of activity around those at all. Like, things are not coming up from below right now in this part of town.
Normally in a city like this, there's going to be like scavenger animals like cats and stuff like that are also walking around. Do we see any of those animals? And if we do they look particularly hungry, like they have not been eating rats?
That's such an awesome question. I hadn't thought that far. I don't think you would notice many of those either. And yes, the ones that you do see, the ones that have stayed around here, probably do look like they're on their last legs. So maybe part of what Dabs caught earlier in the evening was there seems to be more cats down here in the south that I'm used to seeing. Like maybe those types of predators are moving away for lack
Because
of.
there's no food.
Yes.
Because the ecosystem is.
It's starting to change somehow. Yeah. So then, heading back to Dab's place, it's quite a march up the hill if we want to get
we
it.
can
It's like-
dimension door a couple
Oh.
or 3 times to
That
get
was-
us part of the way there.
That would actually save you a considerable amount of time.
Yeah.
When you think about the kind of travel you have to do here.
Yeah.
So you can skip the densest, turniest, windiest parts. You
Yeah.
can skip the fenniest parts a couple of times. Do a few little jumps.
We had 3.
Yeah, awesome. And back up to Dabs' house for some rest finally. Our first rest in the waking world after waking up from sleeping for 2 months. The first
even
time
tired? Like, my God.
you're exhausted. You're exhausted. This has been a long day, and your bodies are, that I let you uncheck that fatigued condition, but you're feeling creaky.
I feel great.
Says Mr. Muscles. So this particular night, your first night back with Jamin Dor in what in the real world was 2 months, but what to basically effectively your minds was an eternity. I think it's incredibly shocking and oppressive, and they say you forget pain because your body just won't let you actually remember certain types of pain because they're too difficult to experience. I think this experience of having this alien thing in your head probing at and directing pieces of your subconscious, the specific pain and impregnation and violation of it, being redumped back into that is hard and it's shocking tonight. And over the course of this night, you once again share dreams with Jamin Dor. And this particular night, Bash, Pandora, and Grip feel this alien consciousness greedily slurping up an entire lifetime's worth of memories that weren't in there the last time he was in there. And it's just poke, poke, poke at the worst pieces of the memories you just recovered. Take a moment for yourselves. Think about the life that your characters led that you knew nothing about until Chapter 150, Part 3. Find for yourself, just in your head, a piece of it that I never explained, a piece of it we haven't talked about. Create something for yourself, a question, a blank hole, a moment. Find an image, some haunting image of a scene that these people are left with as they wake in the morning. Let it serve as a jumping off point for some story that is dragged to light by an alien fungal god. The equivalent for Dabwick is these lost memories from 11 years ago when you lost your best friends. Those were not in there the last time you were in this town. And all that stuff is coming back to life in you. I bet Dabwick can't help but think about it. So it bubbles to the front, and Jamin Dor is eagerly pressing at that period of time of desolation following this loss.
I don't really know what it is yet, but it has to do with her having born 2 children against her, not will, but yeah. Like,
One very much against her will.
one very much against her will, but like it's a feeling of things happening to her that she couldn't control, and then having to live with the consequences of that. It's that feeling of there was something that was expected of her,
Yeah.
that was forced upon her, that was unwelcome, and took over her and threatened her obsessions. Like, all she wanted to do was learn and find out more and dig deeper in all these tasks that Lowell's had for her. Like, that was satisfying. That made being under their control okay. And then suddenly there was this other layer to it that was for their amusement that turned her into something she had never wanted to be. And on top of that, these complicated feelings for Pandora, who will never be able to have that now.
Right.
That was her chance. These 2 dead children. That's what I got right now.
Yeah.
Bash is remembering the time when the Triangle Man's paranoia was at its absolute worst, and he and the constable had their falling out.
Yeah.
And so he was sure that the constable was going to try to kill him. And so he's like literally following the constable, trying to plan like, when can I hit him before he hits me? And also, who's watching me? Who's that? Is that someone that's watching me? And like probably several people that were just going around living their lives. He was like, oh no, that guy's eyeballing me. And that guy just disappearing.
Yeah.
No body found, no nothing found.
Yeah.
And that going on for weeks.
Awful.
I think Grip is there was some time, a job he got sent on when Triangle Man was not around, so it was just him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I don't know, probably some bookseller or other, and it was the first time he truly coupled the drugs with the murder, and he decided he could just live there for a while.
Oh boy.
Dabwick knew the kids were too young.
To take them there?
Dabwick should have known better than to take the kids there. It fell on Dabwick to make sure they were okay. And they dropped the ball. They should have known better.
So it was a late night and a hard sleep. We wake around 10 o'clock in the morning on the 24th of Farast. It's a gray day in Casimir. All that Jamandor shit is just ringing in your brains as you gather around for breakfast in Dabs' flat. What's the plan for this morning? What's first?
We find Jacob.
Jacob?
I need some time. Not long. And she goes off to meditate again.
Great.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I thought we were going to do one thing today. I don't think we're going to do that.
You sure?
Are we planning on going to see Julius Kane, the new harbor master, today as well?
To ask what they know about the Aurora.
The irregularities with the Jeroboam and its final destination.
Right.
Yeah, he'd certainly be at work by this time of day, so if you wanted to head down and find Jacob, you could certainly head back into the shipyards after that and find his office. And, or if the plan is to try to get out to the wreck of the Aurora, that would be a simple matter of renting a boat, getting someone to take you out there, or just renting one.
We've got a sailor.
Yep, we have a sailor.
Did the sailor wake up before everyone else?
Yeah. Thanks, Robert. I forgot about that. So Grip did wake up first today, and as the rest of you find him,
He's trying to get the hair off his tongue. He's looking for a water. And he's running his tongue over his mouth, and he feels those tusk caps that have been on there. And he's like, these don't fucking feel right anymore. And he pries them off, shoves them into a pouch, and then he looks at there's a mirror somewhere in Dabwick's house and puts his hand up on his head, feels his fucking dreadlocks, and he's like, these don't fucking feel like me anymore. And he finds a knife, and he shaves his fucking head down to the scalp.
oh my god,
I mean,
yes.
When you go to do that,
It was probably some sawing first and then some shaving.
Bash will hand you
Bash
the
catches the
steel
end of this.
mirror
Yeah.
and all the sort of surgical tools that he's used to like shave his face and do all that stuff. And
Here you go.
Oh, that's fucking great. And then as he finishes up, he's looking down at his arms and he says, well, we may have to do something about these one day too. But let's get on with the day.
I could use some advice, friends. If we're going to try to go out to the Aurora, then I think I know what I need to do. But if not, there are a host of other things. I could protect us all for a time with non-detection, meaning your demon wouldn't be able to find you, but then neither would anyone else.
And who may be trying to contact you, right? You don't know.
You don't know.
Yes.
I guess that's right.
Oh, yeah, that's a risky proposition, isn't it? Until you know more.
What's the risk?
If, say, Stasi gets out of whatever situation where she's
right.
unable to be detected and she's trying to reach you somehow,
Right.
and then she can't.
Right now, we haven't kicked over enough hornet's nests to have made any.
Just the one demon.
Just one demon.
Well, that nest was already kicked.
Yeah. I say save it for later.
I'm inclined to agree.
Dabs?
I agree.
All right, then.
Appreciate it, though.
I'm all set then.
We have money to claim.
Ooh,
That's
right.
Well, the castle's right above you. While Pandora is doing her last little bit of meditation, that would be something that Dabs, Bash, and Grip could just pop up and check into the temple.
Yeah.
So, popping up the hill, making your way into the castle, which is open to the public during the days because there are multiple temples inside the grounds of this structure, which contains the gubernatorial castle, which is also where the emperor stays when they visit here. But then there's also just sort of regional and naval administrative offices. So it's a fairly bustling, it's like civil location. There's a lot of religious pilgrims coming in and out. There's a lot of government workers. There's a lot of engineers and aristocrats milling about. And making your way to the Vault of Abadar, see a little bit of that, gosh, that scene at the end of, I think it's Back to the Future 2, where the guy's like, we had a bet in the office that, you know, that this was never gonna, like, that you'd never be here. Like there's a little bit of wonder behind the counter as you step up and say your names, and a bunch of the tellers who are all these really sort of fusty, severe, kind of stoic banker types who are like, oh, they actually came.
They've arrived.
They've arrived. It's been all these months. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of hubbub behind there, and then
Glad Stasi and Stanhope didn't claim it.
and then they go back to the vault, and they come out with a case which is filled with 1,500 platinum pieces. So the value of 15,000 gold in cash
We're eating meat tonight.
is handed to you with some very impressed and curious looking banker types as watching you head out like, what is the story here? So when you, so Pandora, by the time you're done with your meditation, the rest of the gang comes in with a small fortune in money.
Is there any chance, Bash, you could keep an eye out on the walk to see if anyone's watching us walk across the courtyard
believe
with
me,
15,000
yeah.
fucking gold pieces?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I got our 6.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear.
So I'm sure tucking that away in the one of your extra dimensional places.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that has to go into the bag, right? Because there's not enough room, I don't think, in the handy haversack to carry that much.
Do we?
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, you can fit it in the bag.
There's enough weight left in that? I can't
There
remember where we left
is.
that.
It's pretty empty right now. We
Yeah,
kind of
we cleared out a lot
cleared
of
it
our
out.
stuff. We don't have very much stuff right now.
All right, then yeah. Let's
Yeah,
throw
by
it
the
in
end of
there.
Act 3, we cleared pretty much everything out. So yeah, you can take that case inside the vault and then dump it into Grandma's sack.
This
And
is
then-
a really random question, But for the grand day of exaltation for Taldor, what commoner has been ascended to the rank of nobility?
That was the day the emperor killed 100 senators and tried to murder his daughter. There was nobody. It was the beginning of the civil war that tore Taldor apart for an entire AP's length of time. Nobody ascended.
Oh shit! I didn't realize that.
That was that day.
Oh gosh!
That's why I love that you brought that up for Stanhope last
Yeah.
book. It was like, one of these APs kicks off on that day. And as I was prepping for this, I was like, oh, that AP actually takes place in 4718, and it starts on the Grand Day of Exaltation.
Amazing.
I did not realize that the last time around that was. Oh,
So it was the beginning of chaos in this country for a whole, half a year, basically.
Amazing.
wow!
Yeah.
Where to?
Jacob,
Let's find Jacob.
All right.
before we go in, Dora will use the telepathic bond.
So Dabs takes you down the hill, down to the work site at the edge of Admiral's Fen. And what was this project? You were trying to raise some building out of the fen. Isn't that what it was, Paulie?
It was a new set of offices being built over a sinking construction, and so the construction was sinking into the fen, and Dabwick was supposed to help, but they didn't understand how to make and shape stone walls yet, and they felt a little like they didn't understand quite how to help, and it was right before they left for their trip with the Sullen Starling, so
So they arrive on this site and find it in absolute disarray. Like, it has gotten noticeably worse over the last, 8 months now? It's been a long time since you were last here. And there's just, like, the crew, most of these folks. The crew is mostly standing around, looks like waiting for orders. Everybody just seems in how you'd imagine a really close-knit crew of guys whose boss just killed himself would be behaving. Like, they seem a little at ends. And Jacob, let's say Jacob Grossman. Okay, let's say he's a half-elf. Reads about 40, very tall, slender, long black and gray hair in a ponytail. And he sees you and, oh, Dabwick, it's so great to see you. I'm home. My friend, it's all just gone to shit here, it has.
Jacob, I'm so sorry to hear about Dommel.
It was such a shock. I was the one that found him. I couldn't believe my eyes. What a sight I've seen him. We've all seen some things around here, but nothing like your best mate. In that condition, he's all bloated and trapped, and he seemed to have suffered Debs, and I just don't know what to make of it all.
He'd faced hardship before. Was he particularly disappointed in this project?
Oh no, Debs, I don't think it had anything to do with this project. No. He'd been in a decline for several months now. He'd been just so depressed. Several of his friends had died. He seemed to find no enjoyment in the work anymore, and that was what sort of gave him life. He loved the problem. He loved to dig into solutions and research things and find out new ways to take care of an issue, and he just went grey and sad for several months before he passed.
Dabwick, ask if he has anything of Thummel's.
Is there anything you have of Thummel's that you'd be willing to share?
It's like a memento, you mean?
Something that was close to him, important to him. We might...
His tools, sure. Yeah, he used these every day.
Right.
Absolutely. Gets one of the fellows to bring around a...
Dark has detect psychic significance.
Yes, they would absolutely be radiating psychic significance. For sure.
I'm not sure that
This is in
In the
our
bond.
heads.
I'm not sure this is the kind of thing that will tell us anything we want to know, but it's worth a try.
He hands him over.
Bash is listening to the description of this gentleman in his last couple months as he was described, grayer and sadder and more just sort of not himself, and thinking about how this infestation slowly saps the you
Yes.
of anybody out
Yes.
of them.
Yes.
And he's trying to, again, like sort of think about the angles, because we haven't actually seen what happens to someone when they pass away from this, or if they do, or if like ultimately they succumb to being controlled by Jean Mandor and forced to kill themselves, or what. We don't know.
And I think, you really haven't seen its effect on a non-superhero protagonist of a story like this.
Except
I
for
think-
Lols, right?
And he's leveled. And,
he's
and
cultivating.
embracing it.
That's a whole other. That seems like a whole other ball of wax there. But seeing somebody fight it without your mental reserves, and as you now know, your history with it, for somebody just like a normal person to be inundated with Jean Mandor, if that's what's happening here, it sounds like it's devastating. Although, again, of course, as you know, it's a slow, it's like a month by month getting worse. And it sounds like, in his case, it took a couple of months to
wear him down.
To wear him down to the point where he apparently, it sounds like, killed himself maybe before something terrible could happen to him.
I hate to ask such a potentially insensitive question, but has he been interred yet?
Not that I know of. No, there's been no service yet, and there's been no burial or interment. No, not that I know of. I don't think he would be. I don't think it was his wishes to be cremated. So something would be done with his body, but we haven't heard that from the family yet.
Thank you.
And again, I think this is like, I think it's 2 days ago. So this is super recent for these guys. Yeah.
Ask Jacob about the Scepter House.
Do you know, was Tommel frequenting the Sceptered House during this time?
Oh, that was always his favourite place to go, but as far as I know, he stopped going there back in Abadius
Which was how long ago?
2 months ago.
So around the time he
Around the
started
time you all
to
arrived.
fade.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess there's that too. That is when we came to town.
Ask if that was
When
the
you
time.
came to town, everything went to shit.
Ask if that was also the time that he's changed.
Yeah, you can fairly, with just a few follow-up questions, it seems like
Everything started then.
started then, yes. The last time he went to the Sceptered House was sometime near the end of Abadius, January.
That's when his depression began.
That's when it began. It got worse and worse and worse. And by now, near the end of March, Farast is when he committed suicide.
Right, I keep thinking this is February. 'cause
Yeah, no.
it starts
There's a
with
whole
F
lost month in the
sound.
middle
Yeah,
of that.
Police Street.
So 2 to 3 checks, and like having possibly gone from a regular 10 down to a 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and keep in mind, it's charisma that's being drained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like personal will, expression, selfhood, and to that point, Johnny, yes, if he started low, it could be a very rapid
Decline. Yeah.
Is there anything else we telepathically asking? Is there anything else we want to know from Jacob?
We asked him about the Sceptered House, and he just stopped going.
But
We
it
didn't-
was the place where he was known to frequent.
Yeah.
He loved it there and stopped going.
Did he mention why he stopped going to the Sceptered House?
No, I put it with his sort of general lack of interest in everything, but I guess it was pretty sudden. It was just, he was going, then he was not going. I guess it was a sudden stop, now that I think about it. I don't know that I would have thought about it that way, but yeah.
And does that all align with when Mun and Lols left?
Yes.
Did Tommel ever ask about Myacne and Mun? Speak of Mun?
Well, they were friends, I know.
They were close?
Saw each other all the time at the Sceptered House.
Yeah.
Aye. Part of a little club of some sort. They had a very silly name. Knights of something.
I'm sorry.
They called themselves the esoteric Knights of
The Knights
something.
of the Esoteric Order.
They had some sort of silly name they all called. There was a group of them, maybe a dozen or so of them that met their Scepter's house all the time.
Including Evie Taru and Aya Bulos.
Oh, aye. Yeah, as far as I know, yeah.
Any others whose names you can think of? Perhaps any who are still with us?
I don't know. It's not really my circle. But you can ask Molly there. Molly runs the place. I'm sure she'd be happy to tell you.
We'll check in with Molly then.
That's Molly at the Sceptered House then.
Aye, she owns it, yeah.
All right, thank you, Jacob. And again, if there's anything I can do, you know where to find me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're back in town. I'll let you know when we know anything about services of some sort.
And maybe, given some time, I could help get this project back on its feet.
Well, we'd be honored to have you back with us, Tubbs.
Did we establish did the rat oddity start a couple of months ago too?
So,
Well, more like a month ago or so is really when.
Arachneumon brought all of his friends from the separate house down to the sewers, infected them all, and something terrible happened. And yeah,
well, no. The Aurora landed and dropped off a whole bunch of people that slithered out into the city.
Well, first, Lols went in by himself.
yeah.
Then the next day, some people slithered into the city. And then the ship went out and sank or scuttled itself.
Which is a
And then
weird thing
Mun
to do.
and Lols left town.
And people were dying.
And people have started to kill themselves.
And normally,
all at the same time.
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to remember this. When we were seated with Jamandor, were we aware of what was happening only because we made these knowledge checks and stuff? Or were we just like, oh, I don't feel so good?
No, you were physically and mentally staggered with the knowledge of your own insignificance in the face of full and complete knowledge of Jamandor, who was now your god. You were able to push past that, with some of you making fortitude saves above DC 25. The average person, maybe not so much, but you do know that this otherworldly knowledge of what has taken over your mind is part and parcel with understanding the name Jamandor. This all just, vroom, you suddenly understand what is inside your head and how insignificant you are in the face of it.
And how someone that has no knowledge of anything might just be like, what do I even do?
Yeah. The bleakness might be enough to move you to commit suicide.
Drop a building on yourself.
Yes. Leap off a tall ship. Burn yourself alive in a lab fire.
Wow.
Why such horrible ways? The only way I can think of is to set myself on fire. Not drink poison or kill each other.
Well, there's about a dozen of them, so maybe there are other deaths you don't even know about yet.
Yeah, we haven't actually tried to figure out how many of these
Yeah.
people.
Is the
and if
Sceptered House the place to find that out?
and
Yes,
also
yeah,
if it's
for sure.
spread past that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so next steps, Sceptered House.
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So as we make our way across town here, we'll be walking up to the Sceptered House at the top of next episode. That's the end of chapter 154. We'll see you next week.
Sceptered House, here we come.
Dark Nexus is produced by Plug and Hum Productions. This podcast uses trademarks and/or copyrights owned by Paizo Incorporated, used under Paizo's fan content policy. This podcast is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, please visit paizo.com. That's PAIZO.com. Dark Nexus uses music and soundscapes by Syrinscape. Check them out at Syrinscape.com. That's SYRINSCAPE.com. Opening and closing themes, along with additional music composed by Rob Kauzlaric. Artwork for Dark Nexus is by Matt Wahlquist. And thanks to DMCP, Richard and Ari, Paul and Shannon, Scotty, Jason, Jess, Joe, Chelsea, Matt, Dave, Derek, Darren, Michaela, J.H., the Biscuit Buddies, and everyone we've gamed with over the years for all the memories and inspiration.
You are a big part of our storytelling as well. And we love it when you help us.
You are, in fact, the antagonist.
And also
the
often
pal.
the protagonist.
Wow.
The story pal.
Your story pal.
Story buddy.
My name's Rob. I'm the story pal tonight.
Protagonist, antagonist, and lover.
Brad.